Hi, welcome back to the garden. I missed a day. My kids went and got their COVID shots, their second round, and they just told me that they're so grateful they got it because if this is a minor effect of what that disease is like, they were over it yesterday, and they're still home, not quite being over it again today. But as you know, when last we met, we were having a discussion of what to make Alma's grid out of, and Prehnite and green Aventurine won. And for the center stone, we ended up going with the Chrysocolla and a white accent stone on the top. When you get these stones, they'll have a tag on the back. Don't take them off thinking, I'm going to remember what that stone is, because I know I'm older, but you don't. Anyway, so the center will look like that. It'll have that beautiful green Chrysocolla. It's going to have the Prehnite, which is almost a semi-lucent sort of thing, and the green Aventurine. And then I may put some extra little accent stones around on it. This is the green Aventurine. And that's a good luck stone. All of those stones that we looked at were perfectly appropriate for someone who's dealing with compassion and learning how to have compassion for the world and also have compassion for themselves at the same time. I do not have it together because I've spent the last few days, see all those frames back there? Those are all grids that I built in the last 4 days because I ran out of frames right as Texas decided to not run out of snow. And I didn't get the frame delivery until late in the weekend, this weekend. So anyway, those are all going to get packed up and mailed out and with all the descriptions. And I will, by the time I do my next show on Alma's grid, I'll have that grid together because I do not plan well. I ran out of glue. So I don't have it glued together, but it will be all glued together. And I'll show you how I write the stones down so you know what your stones are, how they tie together, and what the frequency of compassion is. Now, one of the things that did come up in the last, when I was showing stones, is you saw my pile of what I call center stones or accent stones. And those are definitely, they're cabochons or cabs, they call them in the world of gems. Anyway, this is sort of a sample of the different sort of cabs I keep around and what they're like. And some of them are really pretty. This is leopard skin jasper. Isn't that beautiful? And these are little leopard skin jaspers. And I'll use those on accent points. This will be, I know exactly what grid. I bought that for a specific grid to go in the center. This is white howlite. White howlite is an incredibly interesting stone. It really helps with the communication. It helps with your spiritual development. I love using it. I've used it in center stones before. This is rhodonite, and this is Rhodochrosite. And in case you can see, they're both very beautiful pink colors. This one's from Argentina. This one doesn't have a country that it's from on it. But those stones obviously have a lot to do with the heart chakra, that area. This is a malachite, and it was where I get my stones. There's a lot of people there who go there for jewelry making, and they take these stones and work them into jewelry or to belt buckles and all sorts of things. I have found these malachite beads. They're there quite a bit, and they're great because I'll have a lot of times where I need an arc in a grid form, and I'm not crafty enough to be able to make my own arc. So this is what it is. This is called Imperial Jasper. I work with a lot of Jaspers because they have so much variance in their kinds of colors. This is a carnelian, which is one of the stones I really like. This is a root and a sacral chakra stone. It's really good to work with them. These are this is not a carnelian, not anything else. This is a red malachite. Now this is also malachite, but this is where this one has a lot of copper in it. This one does not, and it's red. And then I kind of, oh, I love this one. This is Snowflake Obsidian. And it's even prettier when you can see it in real life because it's got a lot of variations in the colors, and it's good if you're trying to bring in something that has both light and dark energy, bringing it into the center. These are tiger eyes, and yeah, you can see that one, you can see it. And this one, these are tumbled tiger's eyes, and I'll use those as accent stones, or if I have a triangle, because tiger eye is very, very powerful. But they had a real bonus at the store. They had the more traditional tiger eye that you've seen around. They also had blue tiger eye, and you can see some of that tigery eye effect you see in them. One of these is, that's just plain tiger eye. This is the red one, I think. This is red tiger's eye. You can see the red flashing there. It's really cool. I like to use those for entry stones because tiger eyes carry a lot of really positive energy. This is just yellow Aventurine tumbled and turned into a cabochon or cab. And that makes them much easier to work with. I've got a bunch of this yellow this time because I have 2 or 3 grids I have coming up that have lots of yellow in it. This is blue onyx. Isn't that pretty? It's a really interesting shade of blue. And these guys are sodalites. And remember I told you, keep the tag on the back, because sodalites can be everything from this kind of blue to this kind of blue. So it really helps you keep it straight if you keep their tags on them till you put them in, and then you document what you're doing. This is rose quartz, but it's not real pinky. Rose quartz can be very, very light, but this one will still carry the vibration of a rose quartz. And this is green tree agate. And I know it looks something like this guy, but this one's green. So I like using green tree agate. I always think it sort of looks like it's filtering the sunlight. And then these are picture jaspers. And picture jaspers are jaspers this is also a picture jasper. They can have a lot of different colors. They're not always in the browns. The ones I have right now on hand all have the browns, but they looks like it could be a drawing or a picture on them. Like, that way it can look like a seashore. This one also looks like a landscape kind of thing. Those are picture jaspers. And then we get back around to, oh, this is African jade. And it's as hard as regular Chinese jade, but I find that they have more variance in colors, and they'll be more modeled like that. So what I'll do with these guys is I have a whole bag of what I call center stones or accent stones. And sometimes I go in looking for a particular stone. There's a person that pulled the authority card, and it has this dark major part. Oh, no, the allowance card is a dark major part that's brown, and then it has colors that go out from it. And this is perfect. When I walked in the store, I went, that's going to be perfect in the allowance card. So when I go shopping, I look for stuff like that. Sometimes if I see a deal like these howlites are really beautiful, I'll have 2 or 3 of them hanging around, because howlites are very, very flexible. You can do a lot of different things with them. So, okay, for those of you who were interested in the voting on what crystals we should use in Alma's grid, what I'm going to do is I'm going to take from there, not that many of you wrote in, but there were a few, and I'm going to take the names of the few, and I'm going to pick one, and I'm going to take a bag I have of they're called tumbled stones. And so they're all different kinds of stones. They're fluorites and all different sorts of things. Some are just pretty stones. I'm going to make just a meditative grid, not pulled from the cards, not from anything else. Just find something that I feel working with the stones works, and I'm going to get that to the person who helped pick Alma's grid. And I will get that to you as sort of your gifty for helping me do this stuff. And other than that, I'm going to be on the Lilac Lantern tomorrow night on Thursday. And we're going to be talking grids and cards and all kinds of fun stuff. And I'm trying to work on a couple of programs. I'm trying to get an acupuncturist I know to come on and do a side-by-side and explain what acupuncture is, because I really used that for a while to get my blood pressure back under control, and then it never went back up. Whatever they did kind of worked. And Rosie was a part of that, and I'm hoping to get her on. I'm hoping to bring on some other people to come and talk about what they do, and they're all disciplines I've used, so I can say, look, this worked in my life, maybe it'll work in yours. Now you get a little bit better background to figure out if it's really where you want to go and what you want to do. So that's kind of where I am today. I hope by the next time I see you, I have Alma's grid together. If I don't, it will be done by the end of the weekend, in which case we can all look at it and see how Alma's grid came out. Thank you for all your input and your help. Other than that, that's kind of wraps it up. I don't, I was going to pull a card for y'all. And I'll pull one of the inner child cards and see what the inner child has to say today for us. The world's moving in interesting ways. This week's been a building week, not a reading week. I've just been building grids, and I've done a couple of readings that I'd planned before, but I have an administrative assistant now. Guys, this is getting big time. And she books dates, and I always let people con me into saying, but I gotta do it on a Tuesday or a Thursday, because I don't read on Tuesdays and Thursdays, in theory. But obviously I've ended up doing it. Okay. What we got today is we must be all going into some new beginnings, because we got Little Red Riding Hood. And in this deck, she represents the Fool, the 0 card, which means nothing else. It's easy to find in the big fat book of explanations. She's got a really nice vibration about her. I can get to her. Okay, I'm coming. It's coming. I promise. Little red cap is what they call it. It's a Little Red Riding Hood. You know the deal. She goes to Grandma's house, and the wolf tries to eat her and stuff. In a general way, this card sums up the entire major trumps, because the little red cap represents a child spirit within who is traveling on the illuminated and the illumined road to a higher consciousness. She is sent by Earth Mother, destined to be reunited with the grandmother or the universal wisdom. On the way, she's tempted by the vagaries of life and learns from her mistakes and failures. So the woodsman who allows the little red cap and the grandmother to be reborn symbolizes humanity, liberating the individual soul and allowing it to join the spiritual hierarchy of the planet. When this card appears in your reading, be ready for adventure. Be open to the horizon of the unknown and willing to take risks. Set beyond the limits set by cultural standards. Temporarily, you may feel a little bit lost, but in the outcome beckons you to a more positive place. The experience of the Fool often occurs during times of great interchange. It is encouraging, it is courageous and humbling to wear the cap of the little Fool. Eventually, through the process of rebirth, your genius and intuition will emerge and you will grow. And that's the little Fool. That's the little red cap. So I guess we're all on that journey right now. And I look forward to seeing you the next trip into the garden, when I hopefully will have a grid for you to look at. Thank you very much.